Welcome everyone to the BRIST video, which introduces you to the topic of ethics. This video is meant to be viewed in conjunction with either the mobile app or the teacher training programme on research methods. Within research, the notion of ethics is something you need to think about at the beginning of the research process as you start to consider who is going to take part in your investigation or research and what you're going to ask these people to do. So why do you need to consider ethics when you carry out research? Well, no matter how informal you might think your investigation is, you should be aware that research can involve things like sensitive topics, accessing vulnerable groups. It might involve accessing records or personal confidential information. And the nature of research can induce anxiety, stress, or other harm to the participants and to you as the researcher. So in other words, the process of considering ethics in research is to think about how the participants in your research might feel. The process asks you to consider your work from their perspective rather than your own, and the consequences that your investigational research might have on them, as well as on yourself. So what things should you consider? Well, the consent process. Have you actually explained to the research participants what you want them to do, why you want them to do this, and how you're going to use the information that you get from them? We normally do this in something called an information sheet or information letter. How transparent are you in the process? So the British Educational Research Association states that researchers should aim to be open and honest with participants and other stakeholders, avoiding non-disclosure unless their research design specifically requires it in order to ensure that appropriate data are collected or that the welfare of the researchers is not put in jeopardy. Another thing to consider is withdrawal. Have you made it clear and even considered yourself that participants have the right to withdraw from your research, even if they initially consented to take part? Again, the British Educational Research Association states that researchers should recognise the right of all participants to withdraw from the research for any or no reason and at any time. And participants should be informed of this right. There are other things to consider as well, such as processes around the use of incentives, identifying any harm that could potentially arise from participation in your research. And of increasingly important notions today is the privacy and data storage. So according to the British Educational Research Association, privacy and data storage is around the point that citizens are entitled to know how and why their personal data is being stored, to what uses it is being put to, and whom it is made available to. So issues around confidentiality and anonymity, both for institutions and the individual participants, are central when you're exploring issues of privacy and data storage. You should also consider whether such confidentiality and anonymity is always possible and what challenges you face. You also need to consider the storage and use of personal data and make sure you're compliant with any data protection laws you have in your country, as well as general data protection regulations. Good practice means that you should complete an ethics form that you can share with a colleague, usually a line manager, who can talk you through the ethical considerations with you. For some organisations, this is a formal process, but where it's not, you should still engage in the process of thinking through the issues I've presented in this video. And if you're watching this video as part of your involvement in the BRIST training programme or mobile app, you'll find access to templates, resources and other information to help you do this. So thanks for watching and good luck in your research.